go. This is Rex,
And this is Cole.
and we're going to talk about games. Do they really need a message? This is what's been bugging me lately. A lot of reviewers are saying how like certain games should have a message to add to the political discourse or something. Like a lot of reviewers are complaining about how about the new Spider game Morales edition. Spider-Man game does not have a message about BLM too much. Is just talking about just the gameplay in general. And people are getting on top of Cyberpunk because Cyberpunk's not having a positive message about transsexuals or whatever, and like there's this expectation from game journalists these days that games shouldn't have a message. And I've even seen other YouTube reviewers saying they should have a message because we're making games as art now, and if you want to have games to be considered art, then they need to have a political message or a message in general or overarching message. And I say that's baloney. That's bullcrap because art doesn't necessarily have a message. Does like a Pablo Picasso necessarily have to have a message? Painting or even paintings in general, can't they just be beautiful pieces of art on their own? Doesn't that something? I mean, not all art has messages. Not all art has meanings. That's just a little thing that's been bugging me lately with the reviewers. What do you think about this, Cole?
Well, I have an interesting opinion on it, or I shouldn't say interesting, but a lot more of a haphazard and kind of aggressive opinion on it.
Okay.
I think that the idea that that games should have a message, right, is said by people that want games to have a specific message. It's not that they want games to just be political, because sometimes a game can do something that is political, not in the sort of interest of what they would like, and they'll freak out that way. Like in Cyberpunk as well, something recently that happened is there's a scene where there's like an ad where like a guy has like a gun in his mouth. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Where it's like feeling close, and then it has like this, it's like for medication or something like that.
Okay.
And people said that it, would trigger people with, suicidal tendencies or thoughts. And the thing is that in the world of Cyberpunk, that is definitely a message that can get across like the tone of the world, like how sort of depressing and oppressive things have gotten. But it's not towing the line of modern day politics, of the politics of the real world. So then it's a problem. So they're already, like, a lot of these people are already kind of disingenuous when they talk about this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think that video games can be political and can have political messages. It just, it doesn't need, or it needs to be something that isn't like propaganda, I guess, is the thing I care about. And that gets kind of into a different space. I think that everything has the right to exist in whatever way the creator wants it to be. But I think that's the important thing. It's the creator. Like, no reviewer should be saying, like, I think the game should be like this, or I think the game should have these messages. It's like, that's stupid. Or that is
I think
it's stupid.
Yeah, I think critics who say if games will be considered art, then they need to have deeper conversations about the messaging and stuff like that. And I'm saying, if you don't think games are art, you're wrong. No one, your opinion doesn't really matter on games, in my opinion, if that's your opinion. And if sometimes, like games if art in general is a very esoteric thing, and the reaction you have for it could be multiple different type of emotions. And fun and enjoyment is a type of reaction that people are having. That's positive. It doesn't have to be enlightening all the time. We have things that are deeper that are out there, but it doesn't have to be that all the time.
Yeah, and not to mention, a part of art could just be something that looks pretty, or something that like evokes a feel. It doesn't have to have a message. Art doesn't need to have a message.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of like memes, like modern day meme culture is basically the antithesis of that, right? It's art with an anti-message or like no message at all.
Yeah, I feel, look at a lot of postmodern art that's really different and unique, and doesn't you might not necessarily understand what it means or say, and sometimes that's fine too, you know, and doesn't. I don't really care if people consider games art or not. If you don't consider art, that's your opinion. You're wrong, but whatever. I mean, there's definitely art to how these games are made. If you can't see that, you even look at Cyberpunk. There's a style to it. There's music in the background. There's all these parts of expression that people are having as a developer, as a creators. That's all around.
I will say I actually have a more probably controversial opinion on it. Is that the more people that work on a game, the less of an art it becomes. But that's just me. There is art in those games, but the more people you have working on a game, the less, like, I feel like it has a soul, I guess, if that kind of puts it. But I'm also weird. I'm weird. I love to see... My favorite thing is when I see a game that's made by, like, 1, 2, 3 people, and they can craft a small but very, like, potent experience. Something that's, like, it really says and does what they want it to do. And you can see, like, all the little, like, kind of flaws and stuff like that. But that also kind of tells you the things that they cared about. And that, I think, is what makes it... But, again, I'm weird. And I'm not trying to, like, make a definition. I'm not saying other people should follow my lead on this or follow my logic, but I'd say the way I treat games, if the game is like sort of a bigger sort of AAA experience, to me that is like more of a consumable hobby thing. It's not. I'm not going to try to take it as seriously because it's not really the same thing. There are exceptions to that, like Nier Automata, I think, is a game that, at the very least, gets me personally, and I don't know if I'd even consider it art, but I would consider it a piece of media that I really gel with.
I think all games are art, and it doesn't matter. It might be not good art, or it might not be the best art in the world, but it's still art. It's still people expressing themselves, trying to get a reaction from the player, or the viewer, or the person who's enjoying that piece of art. If food is art, the games are definitely art.
Food is art. If food is art, yeah. If somebody can take a picture of the freaking like sandwich,
yeah, food is considered art these days for sure. I mean, there's no argument around it. So it's even like, does food need to have a political message? Really, can it just taste good and look good? Isn't that enough? Why can't games just be fun to play and look really nice, or have something creative in them, or have a take?
Because we're not allowed to think about anything other than current day politics. It's not allowed.
No, thank you. No, I'm sick of politics. I don't want to hear anything about the elections or whatever anymore, at least for a while. I think most of America are not into politics. Like, most of my friends I talk to don't even know. Yeah, don't even know who stands for what, or they don't even know their localist congressperson. Come on, like,
I just want to grill, for God's sake. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, most people don't even know their local congressperson, and like all these people are trying to politicize stuff. I don't know why. I would say 70% of America or 70% of the world doesn't really care. They just live their lives and they're doing the best they can. So,
I will say, I think I know why. But if I said it, it would get us canceled. So I'm not.
All right.
I have edgier opinions when it comes to stuff like this, but
that's for another video.
That is for another video. Maybe I'll make Maybe I'll make my own and just be like, hey, if you want edgy Cole opinions, go to my Twitter.
Yeah, maybe do that later. Anyway, yeah. I think that does our take on political message or messages in games in general. Keep them. Keep your messages to yourselves. And if there's a political message and it's a good game, great. If there isn't, great. As long as they're fun and they're fun to play and we want to play them, I think that's good enough for me. How are you, Cole?
Yeah.
Any last words?
Same. Oh, any last words? Yeah, I'd just say, I hope that I hope that like at the very least like that we kind of get over this, like we eventually sort of chill out about like the sort of message the games are supposed to have. I don't think it's going to, because this thing has been happening like for at least 5 years, possibly like more than that, and
I'm sure we'll have a part 2 on this then.
yeah, and maybe another. If we're doing this 5 years from now, we can do it. We can check back up.
If it gets worse, we'll talk about it some more. All right.
Yeah.
And that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, comment, and like. Thank you.
Yep, and please cancel us.
No, don't do that. Don't canceling us. We didn't say anything controversial, I don't think. Did we? I don't know. We'll see.
No, well, I'm sorry, but we did.
If you have criticism in the comments, please put that in the comments and tell us why we're wrong.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you're stupid.
No, I'll make sure Cole. Well, Cole might reply to you in a negative way, but if I reply,
he'll probably keep me locked in the Cole dungeon.
We'll see
until the next podcast.
We'll see, depending on what he wants to write. We'll figure it out. Anyway, thank you. Goodbye.
Goodbye.